Open heart, open mind. Welcome to the official channel of the Sabha Project. My name is Christie Chang. I will be your moderator tonight for a very important dialogue on holistic well-being in the era of pandemic. Practical advices from different schools of medicine. Before we start, let me not forget to thank our sponsors, Duran FM, Duran ASEAN stations, and Dream Homes for their kind support. Meanwhile, we want to thank you. We want to thank our technical support, Brother Chong, for facilitating our program from behind the scenes. Brother Chong, do we have you here? You want to say hello?
Hi there, everyone.
Yes, wonderful.
Thank you. Show ahead. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Brother Chong. And also, we have the 2S for our Sattva project, Sonia and Shara, who are backstage standing by to help. We have a great team, so thank you all. So tonight, we're very blessed and very privileged to have 6 doctors, actually 5 medical doctors and 1 professor joining us to discuss our topic today. So let me, briefly introduce each of them and, have them say hello to you. So first of all, we have Dr. Eunice Chang, and you have her name showing us Kuning here. Hello, Kuning. She's based in Shenzhen.
Hi.
And Dr. Eunice Chang, yes, she practices in Chinese traditional medicine. All right, thank you. And our second, guest is Dr. Veronique Tiennot, doctor and expert in humanitarian medicine. And she's based in France, west of France. Welcome, Dr. Tiennot.
Hello.
And hello. Our third guest is Dr. Kunsang Dolma Sherpa, obstetrician and gynecologist. She's based in Nepal. Hello, doctor.
Hello, everyone.
Thank you for joining us. And our fourth guest is Dr. Avanish Shukla, Doctor of Homeopathic Medicines, based in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Dr. Shukla.
Yes, hi everyone.
Hello. And Dr. Rita Xavier, medical specialist in family medicine and Tibetan medicine. Hello, Dr. Xavier. And she's in Portugal, if I'm correct. Yeah, and we actually have 1 professor, Dr. Michael Bachmann, who is an associate professor in the Department of Microbiology and Molecular Genetics in Michigan State University. But, it's really early for him right now, 7 a.m. only in the States. He's joining us very soon, hopefully. And, we have all these challenges of different time zones. So this is really a very rare and precious opportunity to have all our doctors from different schools of medicine here all together. So I do have quite some questions for our doctors here, but before we start, to ensure we have interactions with our audience as well, and also to get your valuable input for our future dialogue topics. We do have a poll for you, all right? So Brother Chong, will you please share the link here? And also, the link will be posted in the chat box. Please feel most welcome to join us with your votes. All right, you can see that link, right? So, at the end of the program, we'll see that, the result of the poll. And next, again, before we start, something that's directly related to my first question for all the doctors here. We want to watch a short video clip to start with. Okay, so may I have Brother Chong play this short video first?
One thing that may have come as a shock to people, this pandemic has been very severe. It's spread around the world extremely quickly and has affected every corner of this planet. But this is not necessarily a big one. This virus is very transmissible. but and it kills people, and it has deprived so many people of loved ones. But its current case fatality is reasonably low in comparison to other emerging diseases. This is a wake-up call. If there's one thing we need to take from this pandemic, with all of the tragedy and loss, is that we need to get our act together. We need to get ready for something that may even be more severe in future.
All right. Oh, yes, we have Dr. Michael Bachmann in with us too. Welcome, doctor. It's really early for you. Good morning.
Good morning. You can see it's dark outside.
Oh, wow. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, thank you again, all our doctors here for joining us. For the next hour and a half or two, we're gonna have some really important dialogue for our, among ourselves and for our audience tonight. So after that short clip, my first question is, how do you see the pandemic this time from the School of Medicine you practice? And I want each of you to maybe spend 5 minutes-ish to give us your viewpoint. Okay, so how about we start from Dr. Michael, you are a researcher, you are a professor. How about we start from you first?
So first of all, I have to say I'm not a practicing physician. I'm a research scientist. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very good.
Okay, good. So I am observing this pandemic. I'm not at the front line, but I am in touch with doctors, practicing doctors, through Twitter, and so I do follow, and I have some colleagues who actually see patients right in the front line. So I'm one degree removed from the front line. And of course, it's been hitting the United States pretty hard, more than 430,000 people dead. In contrast to New Zealand, where public health measures were actually implemented and followed, and the impact of the pandemic has been minimal. So, very simple methods that were already figured out during the 1918 influenza pandemic can actually greatly reduce the spread of a virus and prevent its devastating effects. And as you heard from the WHO expert, this virus is highly transmissible, but it's not the most deadly one. So it could have been worse. And I think that's what we need to prepare for. And I have some suggestions later on what we may want to think about, because vaccine development, as you see, takes about a year. And that's, in fact, extremely rapid compared to what it used to be in previous cases. So we have modern tools available, but a year is still a long time in an exponentially spreading viral epidemic. So I'll be happy to go more into details. If you have questions, please let me know, and I'll be happy to answer at least some of the virology parts of the virus.
Thank you, Dr. Michael Bachmann. So, let me move on to our doctors from the different schools of medicine. May we have Dr. Kuning to speak from the Chinese, medical perspective.
Hi, everybody. In fact, I graduated in traditional Chinese medicine 2002. Then I went to UK, and I've been in UK for about 12 years, until 5 years before I came to China. So when I was in UK, I only applied my the part of the Chinese medicine. I didn't practice the herbal medicine. Although I take care of my food, I've been more or less a vegetarian for many years, so food what I eat is very important, how to balance, how to keep my body functioning well. So other than that, exercise, because to me, the TCM is similar to natural therapy. I've been also interested in all kinds of natural therapy, including exercise, qi practice, and your mindfulness practice. And I've been doing meditation for on and off for over 40 years. And that's also very important to maintain the balance of my, in Chinese medicine, the yin and yang, the theory of yin and yang, how to balance your qi. It's just as simple as coming the air from outside through your nostril into your body. And that's a simple, extremely simple and basic phenomena of our human life. But most of us, we don't really care. We don't really do any sort of attentive exercise to improve. So in fact, most of us, we breathe in a, you could say it's natural to you, but because of our workload and our breathing becomes shallower and shallower, we don't take in enough qi, we call it. And for a long run, it's easily cause the imbalance of our energy. So that means we reduce our immune system, that we tend to attract being attacked by any kind of virus or bacteria. That's my theory. So your lifestyle is more important than what medicine you take, or quite often it's too late when you're trying to use heavy medicine to stop any disease. Yes, unless you are having a operation, and that's a different issue. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Kunin. A very important reminder indeed from the TCM and your practitioner's perspective. So our next, we would like to invite Dr. Kunsang Dolma Sherpa to share her perspective, please.
Hello, namaste again. Yeah, compared with the early day, now all the population, most of the people, they know how this virus is transmitted. So in the early day, all the population, all the people were very afraid of this. And in the Nepal also, like other around the world, we've been had a lockdown for several months. Because it was the time when we had learned how this disease is transmitted, what are the precaution we need to do. But due to now the vaccine is already in the market, but it is not easily available. But now in the Nepal also, with the Indian government, they have supplied a vaccine for the medical professional. Now hopefully it will, now once all the population get vaccinated, then there will be less cases compared with the early day. In the early day, it was very all the people were scared. They were not going to the hospital. As being an obstetrician, I know most of my patients, they don't want to go. Even in the complicated cases also, they wanted to deliver a baby in their own place. It was very hazard, and now all the people, they know, slowly they started coming to the hospital. So hopefully it will become more flexible. I think now people will give more. Now we have more knowledge about this. So hopefully things will get better in the coming days.
Thank you, Dr. Sherpa. How about our Dr. Avanish Shukla? Dr. Shukla?
And
You're
I'm a homeopathic doctor, and I'm practicing presently in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Yeah, I mean, I'm agree that now almost 1 year is it's a battle which whole world is fighting about against this pandemic, and irony of it that we were thinking that 2021 will be a good sign for us for the health, but sadly in Malaysia it's now third week we are in lockdown, and we again went back to a square one where the numbers are really exponentially, as what Michael said, it's increasing. And other part of it that yes, we have learned a lot in this last 1 year, and we become more strengthened to face the fact that how we have to accept the new change. And I think the government policies and other frontliners, we being into traditional practice, not really into a front line, but being into a clinical practice, I have a number of patients whom I am dealing daily. And they do ask me that if I'm not taking anything and I am asymptomatic, but I do go to my office and I do go to the public places where I'm, as we know that how infectious or how transmissible it is. So what should be done in terms of, or what homeopathy can allow us or can give us that we all can be safe. So here there are two things which we manage through our homeopathic practice. One is the prophylactic approach, and it's not new for homeopathy to handle the pandemic. If you have aware of previous history of homeopathy, in 18th century when there was a scarlet fever, there was a genus epidemicus was prescribed named as belladonna, and it has supported a lot at that time that the symptomatologically whatever the symptoms are formed for that particular disease, as we have certain cardinal symptoms. So whenever we see that symptoms, we prescribe the same remedy. One remedy in one potency or in a one power will be given or distributed to many of the mobs or into the groups, and every individual can take. So there will be a chance that immune system will not be affected or susceptible to have that type of virus of the attack or the infection. Indian government has taken a very bright step ahead, and few states have distributed free medicine, like Kerala, like Gujarat, or Rajasthan, and Uttar Pradesh. So there are few states where the government has taken steps through their PSC primary health centers. They're distributing the homeopathic medicines to every individual free of cost, so that they can, because we don't have that many power. Even when we talk about the medical facilities, we don't have that many power. So we have to use the other paramedics or the traditional and complementary medicines where we can build up the immune system. Similarly, here we started, all the patients, I have spread the messages through the WhatsApp numbers and emails, through media, and certain small clips of my videos, that we have certain medicines which has been testified and already been researched, and this can be used as a preventive, as a prophylactic. You just use for once in a month or once in a fortnightly something. There are certain doses which we have practiced, and we just give it to them. Second, it comes when you are already entered into, you have got a symptom of COVID-19, or you are infected with corona, and then what you have to do if you just want to take homeopathic medicine. So we have certain cases which been treated very well and documented in Malaysia as well, where my patients, we don't look into anything which is like what they are prescribing or where they are getting from the allopathic perspective. But we know that immune system in homeopathy will be the main constraint. So all homeopathic medicines will be prescribed on an individual basis, whatever the symptoms we are seeing on the patient. And always we find, as I mentioned, the word individualization, which is the key component in homeopathy. So I have a COVID patient, one which has the only sore throat and only the dry cough or only the flu symptoms only. And another case will be where the pathology has advanced and it has started with the breathlessness, and other symptoms are not very marked. So both the case, we have some individual characteristics. On pathological basis, we will prescribe some medicines, and all the auxiliary line of treatment, like taking from the quarantine and all the other methods, they will be taking care, and they take the allopathic medicine. If in case the fever and all, sometimes we have seen where they are uh, bit panic because of the environmental scope and environmental pressure. So we let them go for taking the allopathic drugs as well, and we don't deny. And sometimes they take together 3 or 5 days allopathic medicines. After then, they will start again the homeopathic medicine. So it's quite a challenging, no doubt, because uh, it's not about the mortality rate, but it's more about the way it is spread. And certain, as the researchers have shown now, that the age group is starting from 20 to 40 or 20 to 50, where it has not very high mortality rate. But comparing to the elderly group, which is more than 50, and who are coming with the comorbidity, the bracket is comorbidity. Many patients who are on the immunocompressive medicines or drugs, many of them are taking some diabetic medicines, many of them who are going for dialysis. So they are more prone towards the lung disorders already. And here the main organ, the prime organ predominantly affected is the lung. So those patients, we are really have a tough time sometimes, or we have to go for more advanced technology to use it, or more advanced way to manage them. Otherwise, it is perfectly safe. 97% cases can be recovered. Even in Malaysia, last 3 weeks, we have seen the number of cases being treated are 4,000 plus, and the number of new cases being got, it was lower than that, somewhere 2,500 or 3,000. So this is how we can see that it's not that serious or the mortality, but how to manage it. Where we will discuss later that how our individual approach, or how individualistic way we can manage the self-immune system. Once we are aware of that, I think I think the environmental effect will not get into us.
Thank you.
So this is how we manage it. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Shukla. Yeah, and let us now invite Dr. Rita to share your views, please.
So I'm also not in the front line of this pandemic as a doctor, but I'm practicing now as an integrative doctor. And in the point of view of integrative medicine and as a family doctor, I think we are in a turning point in society in the way we are living and relating to ourselves, to others, and the whole world. I see it as an opportunity to look inside and also to see what is most important on the outside that is escaping us, that we are not able yet to address. And preventive measures are, and also as Dr. Kunling was saying, lifestyle measures are fundamental here. There are many evidence-based practices on effective strategy to improve all aspects of our health. In generally, the most important is to adopt behaviors that will improve our immunity and our resilience. And more specifically for this, in this pandemic, in this COVID-19 infection, is the role of inflammation in our body. So hope that and to address it is very important.
Thank you, Dr. Rita. And I think Dr. Michael Bachmann, I heard that you have some updated research to share with us. You have prepared slides.
Yeah, so what I want to share with you is that something for you to consider. There is a lot of, can you all see this?
We need you to do share screen. Can you see that at the bottom? after you. Yeah.
Okay. Can you see my screen now?
Not yet.
Yeah. 1 second.
Thank you.
It wants me to. Okay. All right. So
and then, yeah,
here we go.
Full screen. Yeah.
Can you see my screen now?
You need to choose full screen. You share screen and then you choose full screen.
Yeah. So entire screen. So that should. Screen capture. So there's something here with Google Chrome that doesn't allow me to do that. 1 second. Yeah, because there's some kind of recording. Why don't we move on for somebody else to speak while I try to figure this out?
Sure. Yeah. Or you can share the application. You go ahead and try again. Let me just move back to Dr. Kunin. You talked about a lifestyle, right? How important it is to stay mindful. So would you like to elaborate a little bit on that?
Are you talking to me?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Well, since last year, January, China started, the pandemic news. And the whole world know that the Wuhan, in January 23rd. And from then on, we have a lot of online, all kind of activities. For myself, I've been invited to give talk or training practice for mindfulness or mindfulness for healing, for stress reduction. And myself have a few courses teaching people how to practice exercise, effective exercise. Some of them are very traditional exercise from, thousands of years. And I find that they are very effective to improve your energy. If I don't say qi, it's improve your energy. So it's very obvious, even people having stroke, and they feel the improvement compare what they receive from the hospital. So we have a great potential within each of ourselves, but most of us, we depend on so much on other professions, especially for our health. It doesn't mean that the doctors are not helpful, are not important. They are important. But most important, most people must learn how to keep their body and mind, find ways how to improve their body and mind to be healthy and happy or peaceful, at least. I think most of the disease come from, well, you wouldn't say that it's because you're weak, so the virus or the bacteria will attack you. But if you improve yourself, you have less chances. That's how the main philosophy of Chinese medicine. If you got sufficient right kind of energy within you, so the other, we call the evil or the devil qi, they don't easily attack you because you're strong enough. So sometimes you imagine yourself like a balloon. Yeah. So the full of good energy inside, which is strong and bouncy, and your skin is like the balloon skin. So the outside, whatever bacteria or virus, naturally they want to attack you, but it's not easy. But how everyone can maintain that kind of health, and not just 1 day, 2 days, is all your life. So you have to make it as part of your lifestyle. And having a better health, you can do whatever you enjoy doing. And that's also, the quality of life. So to me, it's very important. So we've been doing that kind of activity online, a lot of them, maybe over hundreds. So people can't go anywhere anyway. So because China is very strict, you go anywhere, they can trace you. It's quite incredible, with 14,000 million people, because they have this tracking record from your mobile phone.
I see. Okay, you're tracked.
You can't go anywhere. Anywhere they can trace you. So in that way, it's good in a way. So you don't easily mix with other people. Even you did, you will be easily traced, and then the whole group of people had to be separated quickly, efficiently. So I think that's a great help. Sometimes you think that the policy of this kind of monopoly policy, but it's very helpful in this kind of situation.
In pandemic era. Yeah, and certainly this is a wake-up call. Like, everyone should definitely take this opportunity to re-examine their own lifestyle, how they care for themselves. Like Dr. Rita was also emphasizing just now, from the family medicine's perspective. So do we have the screen sharing available from Dr. Michael Bachmann?
So it turns out, if I want to share the screen, I have to quit to change the privacy setting, and in Google Chrome, the privacy setting will only be active if I quit and restart.
Okay.
So,
okay.
I have to come back. I'm
okay.
All right. That's the requirement for the StreamYard.
I see. So
this I can do that. Software. I'll be back.
Thank you.
I'll be back in 5 minutes.
Okay. We will continue our discussion while waiting for you. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So
Please go ahead.
Thank you. And so, Dr. Shukla, you were listening to Dr. Kuning, right? About this energy, this traditional Chinese medicines, theory from the homeo, pathic. How do you see any similarity or
Very true what Dr. Kunlin said, and I am 100% agree with her. In fact, in Malaysia, our TNCM stands for Traditional and Complementary Medicine, where we have 7 branches, and traditional Chinese medicine is one of the leading branch, apart from homeopathy, Ayurveda, naturopathy, and few others. So what she mentioned, definitely the energy levels. Our objective in a traditional medicine or in a holistic approach, our main focus is that how we can work on within rather outer sources, or we talk about the environmental sources. So we know that entire world is spending a lot on researches, finding out how we can prove on the dead body, how we can prove on the dead animals, how we can prove. So when you have a dengue vaccine, or when you have a vaccine, or when you have a medicine for any such what you call the dangerous infectious diseases, you will always try to get clinical trials on such type of phase, where the animals required, where the dead or the diseased people required. But in holistic approach, we are not really looking into that, but we look more on the healthy human being. Especially in homeopathic practices, when we do the clinical trials, we have a mental and physical both type of symptoms. And that's where we look for the all diseases into psychosomatic way.
Okay.
As Dr. Kunlin was saying, that we also look into the behavioral aspect of the patient. I'll share with you one of my very close relative, and he's a medical doctor. And I love to share his condition when he got affected. He was a frontliner and he got affected with the COVID-19 infection. And a very young man, just 32, 35 years old. And first thing first, he isolated himself, as you know, all the precautions. But mentally, when I called him, he doesn't want to face me on the camera. So I asked other neighboring people that why, what happened? He said he's so traumatized mentally because he's aware of the pathology of COVID, and he's just keep talking about that, that I may go into the second stage and third stage, and it may just go into the pathogens are so fast. And because he was involved in managing the COVID patients, and he has seen many such type of traumatic deaths when the delay happens. So patient brought as walking state, but is within 16 days or 15 days or 2 weeks or within 1 week, he just passed away. So he was so traumatized with this type of mental behavior. And these symptoms we have in our medicine, because in homeopathic medicine, we count the mental symptoms.
I
So
see.
when it comes to us, so I spoke on a phone and told that this particular medicine you take, where the fear of death, where your behaviors are changing because of that fear, and you are getting violent and you're isolating yourself, and we prescribe that medicine, it has gave him a very good sleep. Even though he was taking the allopathic medicine, being into the medical practice, he, of course, he wanted to start first whatever he know, but he also wanted to get sleep, which he doesn't wanted to take all those sedatives. Yeah. So this is, I'm 100% agree that in holistic approach, our
Yes.
approach is more to develop your chi or ki, or in our language we say vital force. In homeopathic language we say vital force. Yeah? So we
Yes.
have to develop that vital force, and food is one thing, but later we also discuss about a certain mental aspect,
Yes.
certain emotional aspect. Where is your focus? In my clinic, I have never put any word of disease. When you come
Oh,
here, you do not find everywhere, even behind me also, there's another whisper, and this thing is there, you will find some positive words are there. So the reason behind, I want to focus on health, not on disease. So every patient. So what is your view on COVID? My view on COVID is what you think about yourself, not what COVID
okay.
will think on you.
Hmm.
40 years, 50 years, 60 years, you are living with your cells. You are not believing in your cells, but you can believe more on the virology or the virus, which is just originated in 1 year before. Right? So why so? Where is the wrong? Where is the wrong?
Good
Wrong is
point.
within. The point is that I am so influenced with the surrounding. The numbers are increasing now, so people are panicking and they're calling, hey doctor, now you see today's number is 5,700. What do we do?
My.
So
Yeah.
my question
Scary.
is, you are not affected, right? So why the
Mm.
thought is coming to you?
Right. Right.
Government is doing the work. Policies are being made. Frontliners are working. How I can support the government? Not being panicking.
Mm.
Maintain your emotional health more intact to you. Believe that
Yes.
what you are, who you are, every day you are breathing, right? Let your breath more passionate to your health.
Mm.
Let it go inside more deeper. Take a chance if you've been given a lockdown to manage your all the routines and become more to the new order, which is
Yeah.
actually the real order, which supposed to be that we're supposed to sleep early, we're supposed to get up
Yeah.
early, to maintain the good health, we're supposed to eat the house food, we're supposed to be more aware of our internal peace rather than always on the track or always on the fret. So these
Mm.
things are, I think, teaching us. Nature has taken a toll and trying to teach us how
Yes.
we must appreciate what being given. And this is
Yes.
the way. I think this is the. I mean, I am openly saying that the world power, like US, like many other developed countries where we have a science at their extremes. I mean, they have reached to the to the other planets. So what is left to the Earth, right? But when it comes to Corona, where we are today.
Yeah,
So when we plan, when we think so much, I think it's an eye awakening that every individual has to just sit down. As what Dr. Colin said, your breath is so shallow.
yes,
You do not
exactly.
need. We never think that if just a 3 minute you do not
Yeah.
have breath, you are out. You don't
Yes,
have money, you can survive even 3 years. But if you don't have breath for 3 minutes, you are out.
exactly. Let's remember to breathe in the positive energy.
Exactly.
Right?
That's the basic
Yeah.
thing what we needed. I mean, I always boost and pump my patient with the full positive energy, and we work on the self-love, self-worth. That is very important to vitalize your organs, your cells, and then homeopathic medicine also work with that very well because we work on psychosomatic approach.
Right. And like Dr. Rita, Dr. Rita was also reminding us, let's not forget
Exactly.
to, learn new information. So now Dr.
Yes.
Michael Bachmann is back.
Oh,
So,
yes, definitely.
yes. So
let's see whether I can share the screen now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now, first of all, I want to support what Dr. Shukla was saying, in that this is an article from Doctors Glaser, Ronald and Janice Kiko Glaser, talking about how the stress response leading to the production of glucocorticoid hormones and noradrenaline actually suppresses the immune response. So what he was saying, in fact, has a basis in science, is that stress is immunosuppressive, and therefore it minimizes the strength of your immune response. So that's the first thing I would like to add. The second thing is that, one second, I need to go to the right screen here. So the second thing, now this gets to be funny here. I have to see, we have to exit the full screen. So first of all, the virus itself, which you see here on the right, is an RNA virus. It's a positive strand RNA virus. Now, positive strand RNA viruses have been with us, and I'm saying with us from since before humans came on this planet. So what you see here is a tree, a phylogenetic tree of all positive strand RNA viruses, which depend on an enzyme, the RNA-dependent polymerase. And the length of these lines here relates to the difference between them in terms of the nucleotide numbers. But that's not so important. What's important here is you see there's different animals, invertebrate and vertebrate, depicted in this tree, and then you also see fungi, plants, and protists. And you see that there are leaves throughout this entire tree. So the RNA viruses have been with us for hundreds of millions of years. And so plants have been dealing with those as much as we have. So what you see here in this Excel sheet is an extract from the USDA, US Department of Agriculture, Phytochemical and Ethnobotanical database. And you see a number of plants listed here on the left. And these plants actually make lots of chemicals with lots of different activities, one of which is that these chemicals can be antiviral because plants have to defend themselves against the same type of virus. Now, it's not exactly the same virus, but it's the same within the same branch. By the way, they also make antibacterial and anti-inflammatory compounds, right? So now what I have here listed as the first 7 or 8 plants some of you are familiar with. These are the components of masala chai, or also known as Indian spice tea. And you can see that the number of antiviral compounds is actually quite large. So if you add them up, because there's overlap, there's about 80 different antiviral compounds. So the question is, if we have patients that come to the hospital, can an intervention that gives patients plant-based complex antiviral compounds that may not have a high specificity, but they have some activity at a low level, but because they all work together, like throwing sand into a car engine, can these antiviral compounds together slow down viral replication and give the patient a chance to develop an immune response while the virus is being slowed down in its replication? That's my hypothesis, and it's not just only my hypothesis. There's lots of publications from the traditional Chinese medicine world where people work in the interface between traditional Chinese medicine as well as Western medicine. And so there are efforts in the scientific world. Is probably around 80 or so different papers talking about plant-based chemicals as antivirals. And it would be good to have a group that compares notes across different cultures, because we have millions of people infected. Virus vaccines are going to take a while. And to get everybody vaccinated, we have escape variants now, where it's not quite clear whether the vaccines, hopefully they will, but there may also be escape variants that escape the vaccine. So the vaccines have to be constantly readjusted. And even those vaccines, they prevent symptoms, in the best case, Moderna and Pfizer, 95% of the cases. So what are we going to do with the 5% that still progress? So it would be interesting to hear from your naturopathic practitioner point of view, to see what kind of experience you have with such plant-based antivirals, and see whether that can actually make a difference. And so I would suggest that we form a group that works across continents and oceans, and takes a look at that. We would like to possibly have a clinical trial. We haven't even started yet, but we're in discussion right now. So we have to have, of course, permission from the ethics review board and all that. So that takes a lot of time. But I think, and time is the enemy here right now. But of course, we cannot administer something without having it reviewed and so on. So if we want to look at that systematically and have actually some evidence for it, we need to do it the proper way. And then compare, for example, the length of hospital stay, the severity of symptoms, and so on, when patients would be taking in plant-based antiviral compounds. And I think masala chai tea is not a dangerous thing. So the ethics review committee should not have such a hard time approving something like that. And now the main thing will be to get the numbers of patients that we need to prove that this is actually something significant. So this is kind of my thinking at the moment, extremely sort of at the edge, but as I know, people, there are people in China, in India, who are thinking the same way, and we need to have some kind of network to address that in a scientific manner, so that we don't just go by anecdotes and by, you know, evolutionary medicine kind of based thinking, but actually that we have the numbers to show that this may actually help patients, if not maybe help patients not get infected, but then not have the worst kinds of symptoms. So if we can keep them out of the intensive care unit, that would be already an accomplishment. So.
Yeah, that's certainly very positive news. And yes, and Dr. Kunin, please.
No, I would like to ask if is it possible for us to have your document that you just you know, show on the screen?
Sure, absolutely. I'd be happy to share that.
Is it possible to send it to us? Because my son is graduate from microbiology, and also doctor in immunology in UK. And he's been a postdoctor now, working for the university he's an immunologist. And recently I asked him to be my my consultant for my study group, for my mindfulness study group. And he said that he need to find all these proven how meditation and how relaxation can help the immunology, because he said he hasn't done enough this kind of activity himself. So he need to find all this proven document. So I think it's very good that you have them. So I can send it to him.
I'll be happy to share. Now, the problem is in a little bit that none of what I'm saying is yet evidence-based. So we have to create so that there is actually proof, right? The evidence for the stress system to impact antiviral immunity that's existing. That's been researched for a few decades now. But in terms of plant antivirals, we're not quite there yet. So, and you know, the more people do this across the world, the better we get the numbers together to show that it may actually make a difference. Now, the problem is that most of our thinking in the Western world has been focused on single molecules. And it's been a very successful model for a lot of diseases, but even with HIV, which I was trained in as a graduate student, we need multiple drugs to control the virus. So this multiplex approach will only be acceptable if we have the data to show that it makes a difference in the patients. So I would love to have a network after we are done with this.
Yes, Dr. Michael. Yeah, we do want to network with the SUBA project. You know, what can the SUBA project do for you? Let us know. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And what about Dr. Rita from the Tibetan, medicine perspective? Would you like to share something more about this?
From the Tibetan medicine perspective, which is has much in common with the Chinese medicine and Ayurveda, yes, health lifestyle measures are the most important, and there are but it's also we have to study the power of the plants in a more scientific way, and the power of diet in this process is very important also to address the inflammation that is one of the most important thing in this infection of COVID-19. There are a few studies with some food and molecules from the food, compounds from the food that are being studied. But of course, COVID-19 is only from 1 year ago. There are not many studies. But we also have to be aware that some plants can be for preventive measures, but if we have some other disease, or if we are infected with COVID-19, we should stop it. Like, for example, echinacea, we shouldn't, if we have a very reactive immune system, or if we are infected, there are some studies that say it's not, it will be worse to take them. So diet and exercise is one of the most lifestyle measures that we can adopt to improve our immunity and to lessen our global inflammation. Also, good sleeping habits are very important, since adequate sleep will improve the risk, or a shorter sleep duration will increase the risk of infection illness. That's also been studied. And to the stress management, because stress is the most important, one of the most important factors that will increase our inflammation in our global organism. There are many supplements that we can take, but also that's very individual. Also, we can improve our well-being by not giving a self-massage that stimulates our circulation, makes you move our body and keep we more grounded and keep in touch, because sometimes we only keep in touch with others but forget to keep in touch with ourselves, and that's something also to address. And
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you. I think it's wonderful since that all our doctors here are pretty much on the same page. So that's definitely, we want to help Dr. Michael Bachmann, with the SUBVA network to collect data for the research, and maybe we can also form an integral network of doctors for healthcare, personal care. Now I see Dr. Kunsang Dolma Sherpa back. I know that a couple of my friends, actually young friends, are pregnant, during this pandemic time, and being a gynecologist. Do you have some advice for these mothers to be?
Okay, thanks again. Yeah. Regarding the pregnant lady, they don't have to worry, because it is reassuring so far that the evidence suggests that the pregnant women with no underlying condition and the babies are no more risk of contracting a coronavirus than other healthy individuals. So they don't have to be very much worry about that. If the mother get a coronavirus also, then there's less likely that it will transmit it to the baby during the pregnancy or during the birth. So they don't have to really worry, but in general they have to take precautions, like they have to stay far away from the mass people, right? So it is better to stay far from them, and wash their hand with the soap and water, or use alcohol base rub, etc. So it is better to stay at home and avoid meeting outside, I think, and that will be the best thing for them. So it is better to prepare for delivery and make arrangement to reach a hospital. It is safer to deliver in the hospital during a COVID-19 pandemic. It is rather than delivering at home. It is better to go to the hospital also. So they have to do a regular antenatal checkup, and if they have any warning signs, they have to inform their doctors or midwife. So if they have any uh, a sign of labor pain, like a pain abdomen, bleeding, or watery discharge or headache, they have to go hospital as soon as possible.
Thank you, Dr. Sherpa. We have a couple of questions from the audience. The two related questions. Let me ask them now, and then see whether our doctors have answers for us. So it's about the alternative medicine that can help, as you mentioned, but then somehow they're not proven, scientifically yet. So is a herb therapy that boosts immunity and then antivirus infection. Is that suitable for everyone, for example? Okay, so do we have any doctors here to?
I would say that we have to. That's why we have to do some studies.
Yes.
All right. Is with little to and at the same time and then get it published. So it's not going to be an easy undertaking, but if we want to learn what works and what doesn't work, we have to do what's called quantitation. So we have to count numbers, and we have to count symptoms and length of hospital stay, etc. And then we can make an assertion. Right now, this is just a hypothesis. It's yet to be proven. So the question then is also what herbs to include, what not to include, like Dr. Rita was saying about echinacea. Now we should stay with plants that are what the FDA says generally regarded as safe, that they are regular foodstuffs, but even regular plants have lots of different compounds, some of which are antivirus. So these antivirus are limited to the masala and the green tea, but to lots of other plants. Plant-based diet in general is more protective, I would say, than a meat and potatoes diet. But we need to do the study to show that this actually makes a difference. And so far, from what I see, is there isn't anybody doing this.
Okay, all right, thank you. Yeah, so actually you can now see the questions from the audience on the screen that Brother Chong has popped up for us. From Di Shuhua, example, in Ayurveda, the herbs known in Andrographis paniculata and also black seeds, are they effective because they're used in Nigeria to treat COVID? So do we have any doctors?
Well,
Dr. Shukla, yeah? Okay.
Well, the plant endographis we also use in homeopathy, and only difference that we have a homeopathic preparation, and it is one of the immunobooster, and we do prescribe in certain cases where the upper respiratory tract infections are affected to the individual. So that's, I'm sure, black seed is, I mean, of course, in a natural point of view, or the natural medicine point of view, yes, it is also one of the good anti-inflammatory. And when we see in a pathology of corona in advanced cases where the cytokine storm, I use the word cytokine storm, where the TNF alpha or certain those type of advanced pathology is taking place, where the breathlessness or where maybe the ICU type. So this type of things will be more natural to create anti-inflammatory effects. And again, when it comes to um, how much we have to give to the patients, and each individual will respond in the same way or not, that is a bit of question here, that we have to see the patient's pathology also. If the comorbidity is there, if the patient is a kidney failure patient, so probably these things may not be very, I mean, these are pros and cons we have to also see, because when we talk about in general, we talk in whole prospect as a whole. But age wise or their background wise, their disease health wise, all these things will be a bit different. So it does work. If you ask me about the endographis or about the seeds, the black seeds, definitely they are good in terms of taking prevention. And we do have certain homeopathic papers. Coming back to the another point, shall I stop here? Later I can explain.
Okay, all right, thank you. Yeah, so individual conditions do need
Yeah.
to be taken into
Yes.
consideration. Dr. Kunin, you want to say something? Yes?
Yeah, regarding to the herbal medicine, or the herbal drink that we use to take healthy drink. Recently, there's a professor from Tsinghua University. He invented a coffee machine. It's not, well, the machine is like coffee machine. Instead of making instant coffee, you're making instant herbal tea. And this herbal tea, it has the substance of the herbal medicine, like 70%. And if you boil in the conventional way, you boil the herbs, you only get 30 to 40% out of the dry herbs. So I think this will be a future herbal drink, coffee herbal drink. It's so instant. It's only a few minutes to get, 1 cup. It's incredible. And he's so rich. He doesn't, even it's a shortage now for the demand. He doesn't bother about it. Because he's a very serious meditation practitioner now.
Okay.
Another type of energy.
That's creative, and hopefully, it will help many people. Yeah, I'm now seeing beautiful blue sky in the background of Dr. Michael Bachmann. So the light, it's lighting up of the day. Yeah. So, Brother Chong, you want to show us the next question? Pop up the next question for me. Oh, Dr. Rita, I want to say something.
Yes, if I might, returning to the first question.
Yes.
Not all herbs serve for everyone, as I said earlier. It will depend on individual problems. And the question of the use of spices and herbs will also, it includes, if we are talking about a supplement where it is more concentrated and is a larger dose, or if we are including in our diet, because it's extremely different, the dose and its effects.
Yeah, so one has better to be careful too, right? The doses. Yeah, again, individual conditions, and it's better if you have a family doctor to go consult with. I think that'll be very wise to do. That's good. I think Brother Chong, you wanna pop up the next question for us? Yes. All right. Oh, we have an audience. Ramani here. Praise to Sabha team for bringing panels to discuss on alternative medicine, informative during this COVID-19 situation. more talks should be regularly conducted, all right, in order to raise awareness for alternative medicine. Okay, I'm glad that you like it. As a novice, even I'm benefiting from this discussion amongst the panel. So it's not a question, it's a praise. So thank you again, all the doctors here. And we do have a question from Shara, one of our co-founders. No, that's a question from Romani. Okay, all right. How alternative medicine can help, and as it is said, need to prove its worthiness. I think we talked about that already, Shara. Yeah. So we need more, research. We just talked about that, and Dr. Michael Bachmann also mentioned that. How does each and every school of medicine learn from and cooperate with each other? Is there a hope for so-called integral medicine? Wow. Okay. So is there hope for the so-called integral medicine? Any doctor? Okay, Rita, please.
There is a big hope on my side because I'm trying to practice as an integrative medicine doctor. So I hope, yes, that we can do more research in that way.
Yes, wonderful. Any other doctors? Dr. Kunsang?
Yeah. In China, especially Chinese medicine hospital, they all work together with, in China, the Chinese TCM hospital, they use all the equipment, all the whatever chemicals they, same with the modern, they call it modern medicine hospital. So they do work together all the time.
That's great.
Yeah. So that it's been a long time in China now. So the doctors from both sides, sometimes they have this meeting together, how to discuss some cases. So they do have this kind of joint East and West medicine hospital.
Yes, that's a very good sign. I'm seeing that happening a lot in Taiwan too, where I'm based. Many bigger hospitals, they do have the Western medicine, for checking, and then they have also the TCM there, another department there. So it's great hope. Dr. Shukla, you were waving. You want to say something too? Yes.
Yes, actually, almost last 1 year, we have certain data which is available with the Ministry of Health, Ayush. Ayush stands for Ayurveda, Yoga, Unani, and Siddha and Homeopathy. So there is 5 components which have their own ministry in India. And they have enough funds, and they also do time to time a lot of researches, not only in Ayurveda, but even the other 4 like homeopathy and all. And before they started circulating the medicine or distributing the medicines in state-wise or to the PSCs, they have done certain quick research, which is very scientific. They followed the same clinical trial on human body, and they started showing the symptoms. And with that, they started giving type of medicine which is more prophylactic or more preventive medicine. One was the arsenic album. Maybe you all have aware of. I have a paper which has been published by the Ministry of Health, Ayush, and they have shown the significant changes, how it has taken place within first week, second week, and third week of the recovery of immune system, and it prevents the lungs, especially where the most of the prime location for the corona. So when it goes to the advanced pathology. So this is one of the useful point that, and even the Ayurvedic researchers are still under pipeline. They are doing certain types of herbs even. We can use these type of resources also, since it's coming from the Ministry of Health, direct from the government body.
That's all, very positive news and wonderful. Again, this pandemic time, we have quite a few hopes. Wonderful.
In fact, Sorry.
Please.
If I say that almost 100 over families, I have circulated or distributed this particular medicine after getting the response from India and Malaysia.
Okay, that's
It still is going on. Even it's still going on. My patients in JB or even in different states of Malaysia, and we have certain way of giving. And in different age group, even the patient is 74 years old, or even a patient is 25 years old. And in fact, some patients in UK also they have bought. Some patients in Germany they have bought the medicines. I just released the prescription to them, and so far I'm seeing they all are working as normal as they are. Of course, you do take your mask, you do take care of all the other auxiliary line of treatment, but they are safe. And this is really, I mean, appreciable. So there is a certain. It's not merely the belief, or it's not only that without any, because there is a base which each science has. It's just that the way of understanding. We have to change the goggle also to understand that not maybe always we will find the animal laboratory research, but we have to also see the precedents. Like, for example, when some herbs which you are prescribing, like carica papaya in cases of dengue, we use very often. And it's from papaya. So one fine question was asked by my medical doctor also that, have you done the clinical trial? The answer was that dengue was not found in animals. So it was, so there are certain times we do see such things, where we are not really going with the very stiff line, but we will also appreciate clinicals, understanding all the research methodology, definitely the certified methodology which is accepted into the modern science.
Indeed. It's time to work together, really.
That's what Michael said, the killer is the time. So
yeah. And just one gentle reminder for our audience, please remember to take our online poll so that your opinions are, counted. Okay, Dr. Kuning, you want to say something?
So one aspect about the TCM is the acupuncture and acupressure.
Yes.
I use acupressure. I teach people, my mindfulness student, how to mindfully do their acupressure, and that itself, we can heal ourselves, we can improve our health. And acupuncture has been quite widespread in the West now. Many universities have a degree course. Yeah. So we all know that it's also one of the effective way that each of us can learn, like everyday health knowledge or for well-being. So this is so simple that there's a lot of ways we can. How can you think of any side effect when you are doing acupressure for yourself? It's just like massage, but it's more effective than massage. You see that? So there's many ways if we learn something that we can help ourselves instead of depending on other people all the time. That is much better, isn't it? Much we can maintain our immune system far more better.
All right. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, wonderful. All wonderful reminders. Yeah. And Dr. Rita said that she needs to go soon. So Dr. Rita, before you leave, do you have any wrap-up thoughts, any takeaway for our audience before you go?
I think most have been said. Taking care of ourselves and don't forget others also, our community and the whole world is very important. Having a good diet, a few exercise, as Dr. Kunling was saying, some acupressure points or self-massage, drink plenty of water, and of course it's never too much to say regular hand washing, cough hygiene, physical distancing, and yes, that's it.
Thank you, Dr. Rita, for joining us, for spending your very precious time. All the doctors here, yeah. Thank you,
everyone.
Yeah. So for the doctors who can remain here, do you have questions for each other? After listening to each other just now, if you have any questions for each other.
I may ask a question to Michael.
All right.
We can do, as we know that certain types of this plants, or even in each plant, there are certain type of toxicological conditioning, or their phytochemicals. Like, for example, when we are talking about this masala tea, and in this masala tea, there may be sometimes we use ginger, we also use garlic, we also use different types of dry stuff. At what level it can give certain patients different outcomes. So to deciding the quantity or deciding the posology, I mean the dose, maybe this phytochemical studies can help us to understand those components more better before we proceed for the further research. Or if do we have any data on that, will be also, I think we can have a review meetings on that, paper review, that can help us. The components which we are using in masala tea or antiviral plants.
Yeah.
So I think, what do you suggest, Michael? Yeah.
Well, so it's a complicated story. First of all, we know some of the chemicals that are in, let's say, the masala chai. We know the chemicals that are in there. We only know that they are antiviral from other viruses and sometimes from computational modeling studies.
Right.
And so that is a good indicator, but it's not sufficient evidence. So there is no way around doing the clinical trial, and in fact, that may be a better way to show efficacy. Now, the problem in herbal medicine with complex remedies is always that, many traditional medicine practitioners treat patients individually because no patient is alike. In Western medicine, we tend to treat everybody the same way and then use statistics to say that if we have two groups, one is treated, the other one is not treated, that this unevenness of the patients is distributed evenly between the two groups, and then we can make it a judgment about what happened to the average patient. Now, in your practice, I bet you have never seen an average patient.
Yeah, I understand that point.
Every patient is different. So,
Sure.
but if we want to make some kind of scientific based claim, we have to do large number trial to get the sufficient statistical power in order to say that there is a significant difference if, let's say, patients drink masala chai tea.
Yeah.
And it depends a little bit on what's called the effect size. So if your effect size is small, meaning maybe your hospital stay is half a day shorter, then you need lots of patients to show that difference. If you have a large effect size, let's say hospital stay goes down from 3 weeks to 2 weeks, then you need fewer patients, right? So after this panel and start talking about what would it actually take to do sort of an international trial But so then it becomes a matter of traditional medicine, where every patient gets personalized treatment, right? So you tailor every treatment to the patient. In Western medicine doesn't do that. The vaccines and done, and then maybe some pre-existing conditions. So there's some adjustment there, but by and large, it's sort of a one-size-fits-all treatment, and you can only make then judgments if you have sufficient numbers of patients enrolled in such a study to then give you statistics that are meaningful. Does that make sense?
Right. Yes, I understand. I understand, Michael, what you said. But my point was that if, for example, those plants which we are using or we plan to use for such masala tea or such antiviral substance which we want to give as a preventive to our patients, or it will be more prophylactic rather than treating the patient who are COVID-19 affected. Am I right?
Well, it depends. You can ask the same, you can ask the question, is it preventive? That's a good question. But you can also ask the question, if somebody comes to the hospital infected, and they're not yet on the ventilator, does it keep them off the ventilator?
Right. So these can be the research questions. These can be the research questions where we'll fill the gap.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's
wonderful dialogue. Wonderful.
It's always the question is always a balance. Is this plant-based antiviral, is it potent enough? Or is it, does it have side effects? If it's not potent enough, then it's not worth doing, but we would find out. And so, there may be plants that have more effective antivirals against the virus. But then there's also another practical concern, and that is, how easily accessible are these? And I know that in India, Bangladesh, right? So we have that practical concern, right?
Understood. Yeah. The main concern was, yes, what you said is right, Michael, the safety profile. I mean, efficacy is definitely there, but at what cost we are going to take that? So safety profile we can manage, then definitely the efficacy will be more countable and easy to access, as you mentioned. Thank you, Michael. Thanks. That's really good things. Definitely we should go on.
Thank you for letting us share the dialogue. We have really positive comments and feedback from our audiences. They all thank you, doctors, for having this conversation here and the Sattva team. One question from our, audience. So, doctors, what are your thoughts on steam inhalation or massage or application of authentic essential oils? That's from Swin Lim. What do you think? Anyone?
What?
About steam inhalation or massage application of authentic essential oil. The essential oil?
Yes.
Essential oil.
Like steaming, inhalation or massaging. Any thoughts of you from?
Actually, there is, I'm involved with essential oils, and I do use personally, as well as I do guide to my patients and my family members, especially introduced by my wife. She was quite active in it. And when I started using in house, my personal experience. One day when I had a heavy day, and after that, the night time, I'm feeling a bit tightness in my head, and I was sure that it's just maybe over exertion. And normally I don't take any medicine, even my own medicine. So I just wanted to sleep, but it was disturbed because of the. So she was next to me, and she just passed me one oil called tangerine, and she just asked me to just rub on your palm and inhale, and let's see the effect. So just without anything, I just took it and I just did it what she explained me. Wonders was that my experience that, I mean, better than my own medicine, I found the inhalation has acted, and within few minutes I was just sleeping very deeply, and I didn't disturb the sleep and wake up in after 7 8 hours and very fresh. So it decided me to think of this thing. This happened more than 4 years, this incident. And after that, I was a bit curious to know. I think that was a burning point or the turning end where I started thinking about the essential oils more deeply, which is known as an aromatherapy. And we do have a lot of aromas effects. In fact, in a subconscious patients, our medicines being given in an aromatherapy way. We rub on the chest when there is a patient is in a coma or in a stroke. You know, so such and the medicines are effective. Even certain epileptic cases where this is they are violent, so we don't use to go orally or anything. We just inhale only. So this type of administration definitely works. And what I do in my clinic, even I use RC. There's one of the oil. It is known as an antibacterial. I have a diffusers, and I'll put 2 or 3 diffusers in a whole 1,200 square foot area, and it's nicely prevents the infections because we have a patients, we have a newcomers, and also so different type of infections. Especially, it is being tested for antibacterial. You can use yourself also. Even for the environmental cleaning, you have orange, you have lemon, you have eucalyptus, you have lavender. When there is a need of a sleep, more deeper sleep, those
Yes.
oils perfectly fine. One thing is concerned that what type of oil and from where you are buying. The quality, the reliability of the oil is very important. So that one has to be a bit cautious because you may get the lavender, but what is the source from where and how good it is? That reliability has to be. Then you find the right effect. So I extremely agree with this point, and it does releases a lot of agony, especially your mental. Because one thing I did some research on it and tried to understand the papers. The skin cells and the brain cells are same. So when you are putting on the skin, it is sensing very deeply. And I noticed some of the oils which work on my rheumatoid cases. There's a Bana way, there's a Copa way, and we use some vegetable oils as a vehicle. And whenever they will start using these oils, they find the agonizing pains will be removed within short period of time, and they can walk more easily. The stiffness will go off. So it really helps. I mean, I do use aromatherapy as a essential oils, yeah, as an auxiliary treatment, yeah, with homeopathy.
Thank you, Dr. Shukla. Yes, I want to come back to Dr. Kunsang Dolma Sherpa. About women and children. You have any, advice for women and children in this pandemic time?
Ladies, those who are pregnant, I already told you that they have to do all the precautions and everything.
General,
but yeah, in a general, they have to follow all the cases. But for the new mother, they have to wash their hands before and after touching touching and feeding baby, wash your clothes or sterilize any material that comes in contact with you, with the baby and the mother. And the mother has to start the breastfeeding as soon as possible within 1 hour, and after that will protect from the other infections. So if the baby is preterm or small, it is better to keep a close to the skin, which we call a kangaroo mother care. So that will also help the babies to grow. And if the mother is positive, and then it is better to wear a mask while breastfeeding and wash their hand and use the alcohol-based rub before feeding, and they have to routinely clean and disinfect the surface around them, and and they have to maintain a distance, I think, for the positive cases also. I think these are the things they have to keep in mind. But if they have any consent or any query, it is better to go and visit a doctor.
Yes, yes, thank you very much. And we had a controversy back in Taiwan, as to whether, we should put the mask on the baby or not. Yeah, what do you say? No, no
if
need.
the mother is positive, then better to wear a mask by mother, I think.
The mother.
While breastfeeding, and she has to wash. She has to make sure there's her hand is sterilized, and she'll keep a clean hand with the soap and water, I think.
All right. Yeah, we want to also, see the comments from the audience again, from Alexandra Baptista. I'm from Portugal. I'm trying for 20 years to show the society this tips of cure and prevention. So thank you. I sent you so much success. Thank you. So that's a congratulatory message. Thank you. And from Sonia Pexi Soto, great point, Dr. Michael. Each patient needs individual approach. Okay, so Sonia is agreeing here. All right. Do we have another one? From Li Xiu Hua. Can we say it's key any remedies we select, it must cover these criteria, which is anti-inflammatory, antiviral, immune boosting, and improved digestion?
As a clinician, I can say that yes, as the pathology suggests, we use these words anti-inflammatory, antiviral. But otherwise, when we are treating, we are not going anti, but we are just building up. We're building up your immunity, strengthening positivity in your immunity. So as the immune has no vacuum for the negativity, there will not be any infection set in. So that's the modus operandi. How does this most of our alternative system works? That we are building up our immunity more better and better. So there is no vacuum, no space for the any allergen or any morbific agent, which is from the environmental effect. Right. So not to say everything anti, because it looks like that we are going to fight inside. But if needed, if the person is suffering with the COVID, definitely the medicinal effect will be through the immune system. Medicinal effect will be anti-inflammatory. It will inhibit those receptors, like we mentioned earlier, when the cytokine storm happened, there is a TNF alpha, which is a inflammatory agent. So it will be inhibiting those receptors. And you find at the surface, we don't find such inflammations, and the respiratory and other type of pathology will be better. I mean, in short, I'm trying to explain this as a layman term. So yeah, we do use the words, and we also try to improve the digestion, because the gut and what you eat, if it's not properly assimilated, then it will not be at all useful for your body system. As what we were discussing just earlier when I was talking to Michael, my concern was only this, that every individual is different. I may take 10 cups of ginger tea in a day and I may digest it, but my neighbor, if I'm giving him, he start having the more and more mucus formations, and he will get emphysematous chest, like there is a more production of phlegm, and then she's suffering with coughing, is suffering with some throat problems, and that may end up a bit of breathlessness as well. So you see the effects that my susceptibility towards the ginger is very high, and I can accept it very well, I can assimilate it, but the other person in the same age group, he is not. So talking about the improving the digestion is always very individualistic approach. Certain thumb rules are there definitely in Chinese medicine, in Ayurveda also we use certain things called as cold effect and hot effect. But more than that, how the person accept it, how the person assimilate it. There may be certain food or vitamins are very good for some certain scientific way, but if a person can't take it or he can't assimilate it properly and reach into the bloodstream, it's a waste. And it will not only waste, but it will also have a side effect on the certain load on the organs. So that will be the more concern about it. So definitely the digestion is one of the strongest thing which has to be not only the food but the lifestyle. And I will tell you later also, maybe if we have a time, certain points where we can think of the digestion as from your mental prospect.
And once again, like individual differences, right? And
Yes,
if everyone can be mindful of their personal reaction to whatever, things they're trying, I think that should also be very helpful, right?
Exactly. Yes,
Yeah.
microbody.
Yeah.
Can I add
Michael,
something?
yes, please. Dr. Michael?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Now, yes.
So it turns out that the coronavirus also infects the gut epithelial system, because it has the same receptor. And a lot of patients, not everybody, but a lot of patients develop diarrhea as a symptom of the viral infection. So ginger that you mentioned may be a good helper, but as with everything else, what you were saying earlier, everything has to be personalized, and that's a little bit the difficulty of doing clinical trials. Yeah. So the immune boosting effects may cytokine. There has to be some kind of clinical wisdom and maybe some criteria to group patients, compatible groups, so that one size treatment is not evidently, right? So that's we need to differentiate. I want to share my screen again more time. I have something else to show you. And that is the same thing from the same database that I got this earlier data from. Can you see this now? Antibacterial phytochemicals. Can you see this?
Yes, perfect.
So
yeah.
In the USDA database, there are 343 antiviral compounds in plants. And so they're listed here on the right. Then there are antibacterial and anti-inflammatory compounds overlap. This is very complex to figure out, but there's also a certain degree of synergism between different plant compounds. So we have this very methodological way to start teasing these things apart and correlate some of the plants with their chemicals, with the outcomes in particular groups of patients, right?
Exactly.
So, a patient who has mild symptoms will require something different than somebody who is already oxygen deprived, who needs supplementary oxygen. And people on ventilators, that's going to be very difficult to do any kind of traditional medicine treatment. But I think we need to start looking at early stage illness and see whether we can do something about progression, so that we do reduce the burden of mortality.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Dr. Michael Bachmann, there's a request from Sonia Gomes. Can we have the recipe for the masala tea? I guess the traffic.
I'll be happy to share. I'll be happy to share, but the masala chai tea is like curry. Every family has their own recipe, and every family thinks they have the best. But
Yes, I agree.
True.
We want to start. If we want to study this, we have to figure out some kind of consensus. And as Dr. Shukla was saying, there needs to be also an emphasis on quality. Just like with the essential oils, if you have a poor quality oil, it doesn't work. And if you have a poor quality masala chai, well, you can already taste it doesn't taste very good. But we need to have some kind of consensus of what the ingredients should be, and then what we compare.
Yeah.
True, agree.
Thank you. Yes. We have one last question from our audience here from Danila Ramos. Since we're talking about holistic medicine and alternative approaches to our overall health condition, what habits have you implemented in your daily life to help you maintain your mental and physical health during the pandemic? So, anyone? Yes, Dr. Kuning?
Well, I've been practicing with my students from it's almost like 5 a.m. to 7. So 2 hours every morning.
Wow.
We've been doing that for more than 100 days now, every day.
Wow.
And of course, I have other courses. Just now, someone asked, what is the best remedy? I tell you that that's the best and the easiest remedy everybody can access. That's relaxation and calmness. Just make yourself relax and calm. Well, don't laugh. It's true, because I developed my course that everybody need to measure their pulse by themselves, 1 minute. So when you are measuring your pulse, your heart rate 1 minute, during that 1 minute, you have to calm down. You have to be relatively peaceful to measure your 1 minute pulse, right? And then quite often my students every day they have to do half an hour or 40 minutes practice. For 4 weeks, their breathing rate also is my typical activity in my course. After 4 weeks, normally they are breathing out, inhale and exhale, say 20 to 30 times per minute. And after 4 weeks, half of the course normally, they come down to less than 10. The slowest, like two times per minute. Ordinary people, they have to go to hospital if they just breathing 2 times per minute. But if you practice, very simple, just take 3 minutes each day to count your breath. When you have to count your breath, you have to take this. You have to be focused and to calm down. So imagine, and also the the blood pressure. All my students have to measure before and after the blood pressure. And immediately blood pressure for about 10 minutes, you already drop down a few.
Awareness, self-awareness.
They all come from your relaxation. The correct way of relaxation, correct way. Not going for a great drink or good sex or whatever. And that kind of relaxation, this is not bad, but it's not for the long term. Cannot improve your health for long term. And the proper way of relaxation, there's a relaxation response from Dr. Benson in Harvard University. That kind of relaxation can produce relaxation response. Okay.
Yes, exactly. Very useful advice. Thank you, Dr. Kuning. So I'm wondering whether you are just as curious about the result of the poll that our audience did. Well, basically the percentage is 33 for each, of their top concerns. They have equally voted for their top concerns, which are physical health, mental and emotional well-being, and global health crisis. So they are about the same. So I guess the Saba team will have to, talk about each of them in the following shows. And so, we're very, very happy tonight, dealing with a very serious topic for sure. But then it's wonderful to have all these doctors spending your very precious time offering us your, advice. So before we say goodbye, I want each of you to give the most important takeaway tip for our audience. So can we start from Dr. Michael Bachmann?
So I agree with everything that was said so far. So I think relaxation is important. It improves your immune system. Right diet is important. That supports your immune system also. And exercise, again, also improves the immune system. All three of these together should be good measures to stay out of the hospital, to say the least. And of course, if we exercise our precautionary measures, then maybe we can get through this pandemic without being affected. And hopefully we'll have a vaccine by the end of the year with everybody worldwide vaccinated. The WHO is making big efforts. I hope this will succeed. But in the meantime, everybody has to be careful, cautious, and on a personal level as well as interpersonal level, try the best to stay away from the virus. So thank you all very much.
Thank you, Dr. Michael Bachmann. Yeah, what about Dr. Shukla, your takeaway for our audience?
Well, I really agree and appreciate whatever my colleagues have said here, and including all other parameters which in new change we are adopting, like using the mask, sanitizing your hands, away from the community, close groups or extensive those type of activities. There are three main points which I would like to emphasize here. Number one, what the Rita was also saying, that sleep is very important. Nowadays, we have got a timings where we work from home, and also we have different schedulings, and we are just on gadgets, and we are disturbing our sleep. Many research papers have shown that when we sleep, we do detox our body automatically. Body sensors start working on your liver and other parts of the body. So sleep regenerates our cells, which is very important. Minimum 6, maximum 8 hours sleep in night is important. So if every individual will take care of it, I think they are already 50% improved in their health. Remaining two things are, again, we're talking about the behaviors, the thought patterns. As we talk about COVID. So every time when you wake up, oh my God, today the numbers are increasing. How do I go? What will be the day? How it is? Please delete the thought. Be choosy, as what Madam says. Dr. Conan said that be responsive to yourself and think that what you're thinking about. If there is a mechanism to delete it, please delete the things and be choosy what type of thoughts you are carrying in. That
Yes.
will identify your day more better and better. Not the last, but still the third point is emotions. Emotions talks to your body. So when you are keeping those emotions which is not healthy to you, every individual knows that what is anger and how he is reacting in that. Every individual knows when he get panic, what he feels and how he disturbs himself. So be aware of your emotions. Try to be joyful. Do the task which makes you more and more joy. Joy is the only keyword which will give your blood the nice flow. And as you are flowing your blood more, optimizing the flow, you find the body is better. So sleep, thoughts, and emotions. These are the
Yeah.
three plus points which, if you can start doing from today itself, if you are doing, is very good. And remain, I believe you all are taking care of everything well. So this is my
Yeah.
takeaway
Yeah,
message.
thank you. I'm sure our audience will sleep very well tonight. Dr. Kuning, what is your takeaway for our audience?
Well, I just show everybody for 1 minute. You put your palms together, put it under the in your lower tummy, your lower abdomen,
Okay.
and just feel your lower abdomen rising up and falling down. So what you do when it's rising up, you say to by yourself, rising up. When it's falling down, tell yourself relax or relaxing. So rising up and relaxing. Rising, relaxing, rising, relaxing, rising, relaxing. So you just do it for 1 minute every now and then. So then it's a quick way, it's the quickest way to help yourself to relax and be happy. Okay? That's
Very
my
practical
tip
tip.
for everybody.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Kuning. So we have gone to Dr. Kunsang Dolma Sherpa. You are muted, doctor.
So I think all the speaker already told what are the things we need to keep in mind. So I don't have any additional things to add, but yeah, meditations, as Kunmin says, that yeah, meditations play a great role, and if possible, it is better to do at the evening or the early morning. And for the pregnant for being a gynecologist, obstetrician and gynecologist, I just request all the pregnant lady not to get a panic. Just follow the government rules, avoid gathering, and wash their hand and use a mask. If they get a COVID also, no need to be panic, because it won't transmit it to the baby. So if they can isolate themselves, drink a plenty of water, eat a healthy food, do a little exercise, meditations, and if their symptoms get worse, then it is better to go to the hospital and get a timely treatment. No need to panic. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Sherpa. Thank you all again, all our doctors here. We really have a very successful first program tonight. Our brother Chong is trying to work on, getting this, shown on the YouTube for later time. So for more information, please, our audience, you can visit our website. It's www.satwa, remember there's an h.org. And thank you all again. Have a good night. And Dr. Michael Bachmann, for you, have a good day.
Good day. Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you. Good night. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Thank
See
you.
you again. Bye-bye.
Good night. Bye-bye.
Good night. Bye.